And just like that, I'm back. Hey, party people. Feliz Quinta Feira. Hey, I'm back. I'm Krishan Wright, the founder of Black Sit Global and the host of the Black Sit Global podcast, coming to you from my home in Coimbra, Portugal. I am back from 11 days in Egypt. Today was my first full day back. So everything I'm going to talk about is fresh. It's good to see you. It's good to be seen. It's good to be back in Portugal. We'll explain. But yes, I was so happy. I was so happy. Egypt is amazing in its own right. So we'll get more to that in a second, especially, in the context of all the things that are happening. But first in the chat was Anya. Hello, 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 hello. How you doing? Positive thinking. Hey, hey, hey. Yes, I enjoyed my trip. Can't wait to share with you guys. Oh my gosh. Siobhan, how are you? Hey, Dr. Donna. Hey, Richard. How are you? Cheryl, PhD, channel member in the house. Thank you. Yeah, I will show you guys some pictures because I was loading them up to the last second. There are hundreds of pictures. So I was like, okay, I got to distill this to like the ones I can talk about because there's so many. And each one is like more stunning. It's amazing. But anyway, I'll talk about it more. Hey, Action VJ, how are you? Hello, Black Expat to be. We're going to get into all of that. The good, the bad, and the... Hey, Thomasina, how are you? Hey, Really for the World. Hey, Winnie B, in a place to be. Hey, Venus. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, because it's been, 2 weeks since I was last on? I did the impromptu live. I think the night before I headed down to Lisbon. And and then the next day, that was it. I was off. So excited to share. Also very excited because if you've been following me for a while and I have been trying to go to the continent like since 2020. So a little bit of backstory. So I planned on going to the continent in 2020 for the first time because I was going to go to the jazz festival in South Africa. So my cousin had spent some time there and knew the person that runs it. I was like, okay. And then we all know what happened in 2020. So that never happened. And then, the world opened up. My plans changed from moving to Oceania, right, in New Zealand, to moving to Europe, a totally different continent. And Portugal specifically, a whole different language. So big pivot. And then since I moved to Portugal, Morocco's like maybe an hour and a half flight, hour and 45 minutes. Still haven't gotten there, right? So I was like, Then Egypt came and I was like, okay. So this year I was excited because I have 2 trips to the continent this year. This was one. I have the other one in the fall. And I was mistaken because I thought that this trip would make 6 out of the 7 continents. But so I put all the countries that I've been to into ChatGPT, and Chat was like, actually, no. You still have 2 more. So South America and Antarctica, obviously, because most people haven't gone to Antarctica, willingly. So I thought I had South America, but no such luck. Hello, Bailey girl, because you have been missing your mama. You want to say hi to the peoples? They missed you too. You want to say hi? You're being shy, because Bailey made it clear yesterday. She was like, chick, where you been? I came home. I was expecting her to be like, oh, look at my face and all that stuff. She was like, hello, mother. And slept in the other room. I was like, wow. I don't know, Bailey. But the fact that you're on my lap right now makes me feel like, you've forgiven me. I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, so I still have South America and of course Antarctica, which I've set a goal. I'm gonna do it before I turn 55. And as I was like trying to strategize, because that's still what, 3 years away, but it's okay. I'm a planner. I was like, oh, I could do Chat GPT was like, I could do South America and Antarctica at the same time if I don't go before then, because that's what most people do. They go to, which is what Natalie did. The hot goddess is go to Argentina and then, go to Antarctica. So I was like, I could do it that way if I don't get to South America before then. But yeah, so now going to the continent, this made 5 of the 7. Amazing, amazing. But, well, I shouldn't say but, because I don't have a comparison yet. So this was my first trip to the continent, as I mentioned, and also first trip to North Africa. So that was interesting, very interesting. And then also in the context of all of the shenanigans that the U.S. is doing. Ooh, child, we're going to get to all of that. Because, yes, it came up during the trip. Whew, okay, look, I had to, oops, I didn't shut off my phone. I had to take a look, I had to bring my sips. I got a Corona. All right, I'm going to shut the phone off because we getting down to the nitty gritty, y'all. Okay, so I hope you guys are doing well. Oh my gosh. Okay, yes, I know when he's like, get to the deets, girl. Okay, so let me start off with the booze since I'm drinking right now, because this is why it's important. Opting to go to a Muslim country and thinking that you're going to get alcohol that tastes good if you drink alcohol, and during Ramadan, no less. Don't do it to yourself. Don't do it to yourself. Don't try to get no cocktails. Egypt is not known for its wine. Like, just don't. I wouldn't even say set the bar high. I would just say don't even set the bar. Like, if you're gonna go to a bar or like a hotel that has a bar, stick with beer, because that's what I pivoted to, and that saved me. But yes, don't do it. I think my friends would concur. But yeah, don't do it. So that's tip number 1. But wow, what can I tell you about Egypt? Flying in was like, in seeing, that image for the first time, like coming into it, just was amazing for me for so many reasons. Because like I said, it was like, wow, continent number 5. But also the continent. And then knowing that I was going to see like and experience a lot of things that we were told in history about Egypt and the ancient Egyptians. A lot of misinformation, which I'll show you in a little bit, about Egypt and, the Egyptians, because I was like, so y'all really put this Taylor up? Oh, never mind. Let me not get ahead of myself, friends. Let's not get ahead of yourself, friends. But yeah, landing in Cairo and the energy of it, you can feel it. So first impressions is, I've been to now 26 countries. Egypt is not one that I would put on the soft travel list, but it's impressive. Like, you see right away, like there's an energy to it. There's a rhythm, kind of similar, I guess, in some ways for me, to Vietnam, in that like and even Bali to some degree, right? Like it has its own energy and pace. And while it may not make sense to me as someone that comes from the US, Western developed air quote country, it's a rhythm and a pace that makes sense to them. Just like certain things in Portugal, right? Like Portuguese do things their way. It may not make sense to me. It may not make sense to other Portuguese, but it is just the way it is. So like that was interesting. But you have to have a visa in order to enter Egypt, um, even as an American. So we had applied it in our visa in advance. I think our visa was valid for 30 days. We did the e-visa because of everything that was going on in the lead up, which a lot of you sent messages and posts of concern because, Egypt was added to the list of countries that Americans should have some caution about given the conflict that's going on. But, and even Egyptians were like, how we wound up on this list? Because it's like the conflict is, well, Egypt is on the continent of Africa, not West Asia, aka the Middle East. So, for that context, because I'm trying to be very conscious about decolonizing my mind and also my language. And so not referring to what most people refer to as the Middle East as the Middle East, because, like I said, all about education is when I'm colonizing jokers decided to name the region the Middle East, even though it's West Asia. And Middle East was in reference to London. And it was like, wait, what? The way they just be coming up with stuff. I was like, oh, right. Oh. So again, how Egypt wound up in the list of 14 countries, they don't even know. But like I said, it was something to be aware of, right? Like everybody knows what's going on. But nothing that thankfully impacted us. I'm just reading. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that too. Oh wow. Okay, I was just reading comments. Okay, so yeah, setting the stage, and so yeah, it was interesting. So the first day we got in, we did. Oh gosh, now my friends are also in the comments, so keep me honest if I forget anything. But so all of the hotels we stayed in, my room, and I was intentional, like had a Nile view. So I was like, I love bodies of water. It is the Nile River, right? And again, some of it is like refreshing my mind about what I've learned. Also, like, like I said, re-educating myself. I did not realize that the Nile is just about or just slightly over 4,300 miles. I was like, what? That sucker is long. So many countries that it touches. And then realizing how much the Nile contributed to civilization, right? And obviously ancient Egyptian civilization, which was just amazing. And so, yeah, while we were in Cairo, one of the first things we did was see the pyramids of Giza. And that was amazing. And so some of it, what you guys were, let me see if I can do it without me being on. Let me see. Yeah, I got. So it is just amazing, amazing. 4,000. And so just to think about how it has withstood the test of time, the fortitude, the engineering, the actual movement of all of these like stones. And as you can see in this photo, right, like the landscape of Egypt is very arid, right? So, of course, things are more lush by the Nile because it's water. But when you go throughout most of Egypt, you're encountering things like, you know, desert like conditions, right? And so it was just amazing to just see and be captivated by just, all the things. Because I'm like trying to make sense of what I'm seeing, how old it is, how old I am in the grand scheme of the world, right? And all the people that have come before, all the things that have happened in the world during that time, or that time forward and on beyond, right? Wars, earthquakes, all kinds of things, and these things exist. And then also thinking about like the pyramids is oftentimes people refer to the pyramids of Giza and they think of, the three, but there are also, lots of other pyramids, not as high, on the property, which is like amazing, amazing. I was just like in awe. So seeing that and seeing the scale was impressive. Um, but and also like in that picture, and I'll probably put it back up because you can juxtapose it really well, is we're standing there taking in the pyramids, and then as you can see in the background is modern Cairo. So just to think like that whole part in the background didn't exist, and just see this contrast, which was, kind of something that like we just kept going back and forth and kind of taking it in. It's just, you know, seeing all of this with amazement and wonderment, the ancient civilization and the ingenuity and the longevity, and then contrasting that to modern times, and then also the effects of colonization, past and present, um, in Egypt. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot to take in, and still processing. You guys are getting this fresh. Like I said, this is my first full day back, so it was just amazing. And it was so crazy because when you think about Egypt, a lot of things come to mind. One, the pyramids, and things that you've been told over the years about, King Tut, or Nefertiti, or Cleopatra, and things like that. But the craziness about the pyramids, and I gotta go back to the pyramids. the crazy thing about the pyramids is like the pyramids existed way before King Tut, way before like Nefertiti and Cleopatra. And so you're just like, what? Like before Christianity? It's like, wait, what? It's just amazing. It's amazing. And I like to nerd out on these things. And like I have like a couple quick notes too, just to kind of keep me honest with the timeline. But it was an emotional reaction to take that in, to take in things that I learned in school and then just seeing it in real life. Um, yeah, yeah. So the pyramids were constructed around 20, what now I'm reading because I want to be accurate, 2500 BCE, right? Before Christ ever existed. Who knows what the E is supposed to be, but that's what I'm going to say. And Tut, right? 1,000 years later, a thousand years later. And I don't think anybody like really appreciates the timeline because we think about ancient Egypt and we think about Egypt in general. Again, you know, we're heavily influenced by movies and media as like a compressed time period. But there are things that existed well before. And then some, like I said, sometimes we commingle things like the Greco-Roman period and influence, and was able to see the contrast between those really. And just seeing the like the years on the placards, and I'm like, whoa, thousands of years had gone from one event to another. But you know, as a young person or even as an adult, I don't think we really have the words or maybe like the time to conceptualize like my grandmother and my great grandmother. Well, no, my great grandmother lived to be 105, I think it was. My grandfather almost 100, both of my grandfathers. So to think 1,000 years, amazing, amazing. And again, thinking of it in the context of the time in which we are living today, takes my breath away. Takes my breath away. So I wanted to show you also too. Let's see if I can do this without sound. So this is like just a couple seconds of some of the hieroglyphics that you could see on the walls in one of the temples. And you can see just the paint, right? The color is still pretty vivid. We're in 2026. Again, this stuff is thousands. I'm just going to repeat it. Let's see if I can do it again. These things are thousands, the same clip that's going to repeat, thousands of years old. And also, like let's see if I can stop it a little bit. The sophistication, see if I can, okay, yeah, all right. With the hieroglyphics. And unfortunately, I can't really like zoom in on this clip, but like the hieroglyphics and the language that, you know, they were able to use to communicate, rank. You can see an Ankh here, which is about life. It's just so many things. It was just so wild. And also because, the color is still pretty vivid. And this is video, so this is not an image that I had a filter on or everything. This is just image from my camera on my iPhone. You see these brown people. Brown people. You're on the continent of Africa. Brown people. Let's see if I can make this bigger a little bit. Let's see. No, it doesn't really do that. But it's like because they had, blues and, white and cream and brown. And so if they were envelope colored, they would have depicted them as such. But they were not, because they were not. But look, the hair. Sorry, it's raining. Um, the hair, like, it's just amazing. And these, pictures, carvings, hieroglyphics, they're not in some of the temples, are not just on the walls, they're on the ceilings. And so even just understanding that, like they had, and I don't want to use the word primitive, because just to see it standing now thousands of years later, even though they were using like mud and stones to erect scaffolding to build these things, right? To carve and do all this stuff. It's just amazing what they did with the tools and the resources, the ingenuity and know-how at that time. And just takes your breath away. It boggles mind. But yeah, like you just see, it's just amazing. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. The Kush Empire were almost forgotten. Yeah. Yes. It's just fascinating. Okay, let me see if I can take this one out. Okay. So one of the other, I think these were, yeah, be the same. One of the other things that like took my breath away. I mean, there were so many. Like I said, there are hundreds of pictures, hundreds. Like I had to start like deleting old stuff in my phone because I was like, no, I got to see all of this. And I still, like I said, still processing. So we went to, while we were still in Cairo, to the Great Egyptian Museum, which, it's a new museum. And Grand Egyptian Museum, the sucker is big. It's gigantic. It's gigantic. And we saw so many artifacts, different time periods, right? So you're talking about, the original civilization in ancient Egypt, all the way through, like I said, Greco-Roman, excuse me. And it was interesting to see, the one that most people know about, which is King Tut. And one of the things that struck me, and again, just maybe forgotten, whatever, he became a king at age 9. 9. And then died at 18. Right? Like, amazing. And so he's a real person, not a myth, not a mythological person. And one of the things that made Tut such a remarkable figure is that when they found his tomb, it was so well preserved, and that he also had over 5,000 artifacts they found in his tomb, which was the most that they, at least to date, that they had found. And so it was just, a way for them to kind of recreate what the day in the life was of this figure at that time. And so one of the things that I wanted to show you was his burial mask, right? Like, what? The Grand Egyptian. Yes. Okay. I was like, the Grand Egyptian. Thank you. Thank you. I was like, the Great? No, the Grand. Like, look at this in gold, right? Because where are we at? the continent of Africa. But look at this. Amazing. Amazing. The craftsmanship. Like the minds. And so the Egyptians believed in the afterlife, which was, mummification and also, preserving, which, preserved the body, right? And then the organs each had their own, like encasement. Because the thought is but the heart stays intact, right? Because the thought is that when the person, comes back in the afterlife, um, that they will have, their possessions and things like that. And so for Tut to have so much, it was just amazing. So his ceremonial mask, as you can see, like the detail of it, the gold, the features. Again, if these were plum colored folk, which makes zero sense because these people can be outside for like 3.5 seconds in Miami and turn into a tomato. How are you going to be on the continent in a desert? No shade. And again, we just saw the brown peoples, right? So you see the full lips of Tut. Those aren't thin lips. But you see all of these things. So his beard, again, the color, but like people had to create these masks, right? It's just amazing. One of the things that also, yeah, yeah, he was a baby king. He was a baby king. Amazing, amazing. Again, thousands of, so he existed, right? 1,000 years after the pyramids. 1,000 years, just mind blowing. Anyway, one of the things that just took me was this chair, right? So this is a ceremonial chair. Let me see if I can take me out again. Where am I? Okay. I'm trying to take that out and me back. Woo woo. Okay. Amazing. Because I'm like, mm. Again, draw your own conclusions. Because, they take from us and then rewrite revisionist history as if we contributed nothing to civilization. But, going to Egypt and seeing the things that I saw, we saw, it'll make you think about Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny in a different way. Another one. Yes, it is. It is. Oh, Yakota's here. Hello. Yes. Oh, good. I had to up. Well, I'll share about mine. Mine does not link to North Africa, but awesome. Because you know what, Ramses is the next one we're going to talk about. Ramses the second. Look at Ramses. I mean, I was struck by the features. Look at that mouth. Look at that nose. Look at that forehead. Amazing. Right? Yeah. So Ramses II existed in the New Kingdom era. But it's just like, it's amazing because these, statues, exactly. Blackity black, right? With a capital B on the black, right? Blackity black. Amazing. Amazing, right? But to see, so Ramses II existed during the New Kingdom era. And so these statues, and some have been defaced, some were found in different areas of Egypt, because obviously conflict happens, different people come to power, they want to have their take on stuff, but thankfully a lot of these things have been found. They're still excavating, so most, if not all, of the sites we went to still had archaeological activity going on, where areas were roped off because they're still excavating these ancient areas. But again, as a Black American seeing this, I was like, baby, what? Mm, mm-mm. So yeah. Yeah. So, and then of course, because my friends are here, it's wild that they're still discovering and excavating. Yeah. 2 mummified. Yes, that was the other thing. 2 mummified premature babies. They had the mummies, the remains of. And it was King Tut and his wife's baby. Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. These little tiny, skeletons. So that was in a room in the Grand Egyptian Museum, and they weren't allowed to, photograph it at all. They have a guard there. So it was the one area that you couldn't, and maybe nor do you want to, but just to see it. And it's like, whoa, amazing, crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. And so, yeah, just in awe. So this one was another one. I think this was the last one I wanted to show. And like I said, just in prep for this conversation, I was like, oh my God, there's There's hundreds of photos. So I can't even, we're not going into, we went to Cairo, Memphis. Um, we went to Luxor, lastly, Aswan. And so we went through a good bit of Egypt during our time there. And one of the other sites that we visited that just, I mean, there was every day was something. But one that just took me was Abu Simbel. The Abu Simbel temple was like, what? Um, uh, Documentary, like video on YouTube about the Abu Simbel temple by UNESCO with, archival footage of, you know, people going in, how they had to, disassemble it, tag it, reconstruct it, move it to its new location, like the whole thing. And these aren't like little stones, like these are tons. Like each stone weighed several tons. So again, you're seeing this heavy machinery that they were using in modern times to relocate it from its original location to this one, just 200 meters, I think, from this original location. But I'm like, what? And to think when these things were constructed way back when, And you kind of see when you go to some of the sites how back in the day, the men would move these big tons of rock. Just amazing. Amazing. Just amazing. So let's see if I can take this off. Yeah, just amazing. So that was it for like the highlight pictures I wanted to show you. Not even highlight. There's so much more I could talk about, but just trying to keep it honest. Okay, so that was the impressive part. The challenge. There were some interesting things, right? And I try to take things in for what they are. So navigating Egypt, we had a tour company, we had guides, both in all the places that we went. So we had a service pick us up at the airport, take us through to all of the sites, explain things. But it's interesting. Egypt has a very tip-heavy culture. And I know tipping has gotten out of hand in the US. Tipping is not really a thing in Portugal, meaning it's not expected, but it is most definitely expected in Egypt. And so one of the things that, we were prepped for, and, again, shout out to Tadasi, helping us, kind of know like, what are the guidelines for, tipping housekeeping and things like that. So we kind of had, we had our North Star. What we were not prepared for is like going to sites like the pyramids of Giza. And so you have, these pyramids. You may also have tombs, because there's several. I mean, it's one site, right? Hundreds, over 100 tombs. And the guides are not allowed to go into certain areas. So they may not be allowed to, depending on where you're going, guides may not be allowed to go into a tomb or a temple, not all of them, but just certain ones. And so in that instance, your guide will do an explanation outside and then, kind of help you orient and guide your experience, what you're about to see. But what happens inside is that they have security, and they too want to be compensated. And it's like, wait, what? So you pay an entry fee to go into these places, but then, you're going to see, this tomb and this temple where you got to hit off this person and that person. And so next thing you know, it's like, wait, what? Where all my money go? And I wish I had brought my wallet in here so I could show you, the Egyptian pounds. But yeah, it adds up. It adds up. And I can't remember off the top of my head the conversion rate, but yeah, that was something. Was it quite like ready for? We were ready for like, tipping culture, but not like everybody wants some money. So that was a little interesting. And what else was fun was like we did a nice felucca ride on the River Nile, which is just, again, amazing. Where we stayed in Cairo was centrally located. But one of the things that we were not prepared for as foodies, as all of us live in Portugal now, or originally from the US, is Portugal will spoil you in terms of your palate. And yeah, going to Egypt, you might want to bring your own food. You might want to bring your own food, because we were hard pressed to find a good meal. The hotel we stayed at, and pretty much, every hotel we stayed at. And as a guide, for somebody who's traveled to other countries, like I said, like Indonesia and Vietnam and things like that, where you tend to fare better as a Westerner, right, at established chains, because if there's an issue, you know, you kind of understand like the corporate hierarchy, right? However, 4 and 5 star hotels in Europe or the US may not translate to the same rating system and quality in a place like a Vietnam or in Egypt. And so while we were staying at, 4 and 5 star accommodations, the food was not. So we would be like, all right. And then disappointment. Uh, in disappointment in such like, how do you mess up a salad? How do you mess up a salad? Yeah, that one was tough. That one was tough. So thankfully, we were able to in Cairo. One of the saving graces for us. You coming back upstairs? Come back. Come on. No. Was that there was a nearby Sheraton that had some good food, like good as in edible food. And we went there quite a few. And then when we were in Luxor, thankfully there was we were centrally located. There was a Chinese restaurant that was really good that we stumbled upon. And oh my gosh, still thinking about this eggplant. It was so delicious. But we ate that food like like people who had never eaten food. But yeah, it was interesting. So yeah, bring your own food if you can. Because even in one of the places, and I think it was, keep me honest, y'all, like the hotel, Snickers, right? The candy bar. And so one of the friends went into the store, like the little hotel like shop. And when I tell you the dust that was on the Snickers, it was like petrified. It was like, what? So yeah, that was interesting. And then the guide that we had in Cairo, because we had a long day, and maybe like midway through the day, gonna go get something to eat. And so, I don't really eat a lot of beef. I don't eat a lot of beef, not pork. And so our friends, the Howards, I'm just looking at I just kind of looked. The Snickers were hard as rock fossils. Again, coming out of people who had been at ancient sites to then question whether or not this particular Snickers bar was also an ancient Egyptian artifact. It was like, whoa, yes, like a salad. How do you mess up a salad? It was basic. Yeah, yes. And don't ask them to bring you no bread. Like, we only had one, and that was at the Nubian village where we had bread, and it was like, oh, it's actually tastes good. Of course, because they were from Nubians. But the other bread, I wondered if they were found with tut. It was like, what? And again, we went through several cities. But yeah, this one experience that we had coming back, I think in Cairo, yeah, because we were with that first guy, and she was like, oh yeah, you want some, take you to this restaurant. And so I think all but one person had opted for the fish because they said, oh yeah, they have fish. And then she said, oh, it's sea bass. So again, we live in Portugal. And so I eat salmon, I eat sea bass. So I know what it should taste like. And we get our food, and that that wasn't what was on them plates. That was not what was on them plates. None of us that opted for the fish ate that because we couldn't even identify what type. Like, no, no, don't go in there with a lot of expectations of eating. Like, if you can pack some peanut butter, it might help. But don't, don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. Yes, 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 yeah. And yeah. The tipping is like, I turned on a light for you. And then this one hotel was in Luxor, the ATM, because that was another thing. It was like a lot of the hotels had 24-hour banks inside the hotel because, people are coming from, different countries with different currencies and, needing to convert and do things, etc. So they would have 24-hour banks in some of the hotels. So there's one particular hotel we stayed at in Luxor. The ATM, unfortunately, it was on the property of the hotel, but it was outside the hotel. So you have to go outside the hotel to go into the ATM, which means everybody who's standing on the street, walking by, driving by, now knows you have money because they've all seen you go to the ATM. That was interesting. The level of security, high level of security. So it was a lot of, every time we go into a building, a hotel, we had to put our bags through security, your purse, anything you buy, metal detector, you put your bag on the conveyor belt, go through a metal detector. Every time we leave the hotel, every time we come back in, metal detectors and everything at the airports. Got patted down at all of the airports. Also, taking your shoes off, which I was not thrilled about. Checking, your inner thigh, or, feet. Yeah, it was interesting being in there that time, being in the region that time of year during Ramadan, because, they are fasting during the day. And then, the sun goes down and then it's like, boing, blood sugar levels return. People in the streets all night, loud in the streets all night, which is fun. So it was a lot of like energy, right? And so, yeah, it was interesting to do, kind of walkabouts, which we did a lot more walking, I would say, about like the city in Cairo, less in Luxor and where we were located in Aswan, which was the cutest property, I think, out of all of the hotels we stayed at. And again, just on the Nile River. I should have actually included that one, but yeah, there's no time. But I'll be cutting up some of the videos and like doing snippets so you guys can kind of see a little bit more than what I'm articulating now. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You gotta know how to say no. But they know English. So they'll say, oh, sister, hello, oh, my American friends. And let me tell you how we turned Portuguese. Because think about it. We're traveling, even though, like I said, we're on the continent of Africa, North Africa specifically. Conflict is happening in West Asia, but also, kind of, people also know what's going on. So one of the pluses to that was that we were able to view, you can kind of see from the pictures, not a lot of people. We were able to really spend our time in each of the temples, tombs, places, because crowds had fallen dramatically because a lot of flights have been canceled. A lot of people who were in the affected countries, including UAE, were not able to leave because airports were closed or flights were canceled, hotel stays as well. And so that crowd reduction allowed us to be able to take in, these sites and have, the freedom kind of to move about. But again, because of the two instigator countries being the country of our births, we were like, we're Portuguese. No, give us some distance. So with that brought a lot of goodwill because everybody would smile. They were like, oh, Portugal, nice people. Yeah. I ain't saying I'm American. You'll follow Portuguese, baby. What? No, no, no. So yeah, so they would be like, they would see us, be like, Rasta, uh, Serena. I got called Serena one time. Serena, cousin. And because the tipping culture, and they can be aggressive with it, but not rude in the sense that you say no. They're not like calling you names or trying to fight you over it. But yeah, it's like, go to the bathroom. That was the other thing. I was very happy to be back home so I could pee for free. As you go to the bathroom and there's like no toilet paper in the bathrooms because there's a lady in the bathroom with all of the toilet paper. Right? I have a vagina. I don't have a penis. I need to wipe. So she's like, and then she wants to negotiate like how much you gonna pay her. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. A lot of tipping. Um, and kids, they've got their, you know, bookmarks and other doodads that they want to sell. One of the things that kind of took me aback was our last day. We were in Aswan and we did a felucca ride because we went to a temple and then we went to a temple first or second. Yes. And then we had to take another ride to the Nubian village, which was also amazing. And yeah, and so what I wasn't prepared for is it was a hot day. I think it was the hottest day of the days that we were there. I think it was like 90 that day because we were like, southern part. And so it's like, oh, we're going to do this, relaxing ride. And then, we're off to the airport. So we have to fly from Aswan to Cairo and then start our flights back to Portugal. What's up, Bobos? Okay. You want to come back to the peoples? Okay. They missed you. And so we're on the felucca, just riding the Nile. And again, we are on a boat in the water. Why these kids popped up out of the water and they wanted money? We were like, what the fuck? And I was like, yo, like Scuba Steve, what? I mean, I am glad that these kids know how to swim, but how Sway? Y'all is coming out of the water. Wild. So that was interesting. The other thing that was interesting was, and I know I'm jumping, but y'all, some of y'all haven't been there, so I'm trying to like paint a picture of some of the things that were like, oh shit. We were again, it was like some similarities to some of the countries that I've been to in the past, where you'll have roads and traffic direction, but just because your vehicle is going in one direction does not mean that everybody is going in the same direction. So you'll be going straight, and maybe somebody in front of you is going straight, but in the opposite direction in the same lane in which you're going. And it's like, what? Or what was interesting was we were trying to pull in, the boats were trying to pull into the dock. And so we're in our boat, which we're a private party. And then there's this, other boat, which has like a bunch of people on it. But there's only like one slip. And so on both sides of the boat, they have these tires. And they have a rhythm and communication going on to themselves, right? They're talking to each other in Arabic, maybe they toot the horn, whatever. So we're kind of looking, and as we're coming in, I'm like, okay, this is gonna make sense to somebody at some point. And these two boats continue to converge, and what happens is that is where the tires come into play because we kind of bumped the big boat and slid on in there. And it was like, oh, okay. And I don't know how to swim. So I was like, okay, like I'm not gonna fall in the water and drown, Jesus. um, Another interesting thing about being in a car, and we were, like I said, in a private van, and we had curtains and everything, kind of shield us a bit. It was interesting. So not a lot of people have cars. So you're like, oh, okay, how do people get around? Caravans and things like that. And so our one guide in Cairo, when she was done with the tour with us, she was like, oh, just drop me off here. Now we had noticed in the car we'd be on the highway, and there were people on the highway, like walking in the highway. I'm like, why are these people on the highway? Like 20, 30 people, drive a couple feet, another 15 people, 5 people over here. And you're like, what? But people would just go on the highway, and it wasn't like hitchhiking. They were like, hire, a car, meaning the car is going in the direction I gotta go. Do you have a spot? I can get in here. What? Wild. So it'd be little kids, adults. I was like, what? So she was like, oh, you could just drop me off here. And she was just going to find a ride home. What? Wild. So we would be on the highway, and there would be vans, buses, donkeys, tuk-tuks. I didn't ask whether or not like they actually have driver's licenses, because I kind of think that they don't exist. Because there were like cars that, there's no inspection. There's not even car insurance, which was wild when she said that. I was like, wait, what? Do you mean no car insurance? Wild. Yeah, that was interesting. That was interesting. And she told this story, our guide. And, like I said, these cars are, come in, you're going this way, and another car, some cars might be going like you straight, but then another car wants to come in between you, but it's going in the opposite direction. You just got to commit. You got to be firm. And crossing the street is interesting. And so she was like, oh, yeah, I got hit by a car once. What? Yeah, when you cross the street, you got to look at the driver, because if you look at the driver and they see you, you see them, and then you're pretty much okay. Pretty much. Okay. So how'd you get hit by a car? Well, she hesitated. Kind of hesitated. And the car hit her. And she was like, oh, I just, flew like, 15 meters. What? Broke a little something. what? So we're like, well, what does that mean? Like, well, if that happens, that's your destiny. I was like, what? I can't. Yes, be good to the universe because in Egypt, if you get hit by a car, it's your destiny. My destiny was to survive the 11 days and get back to Portugal. So I was like, what? I learned more than I thought I was going to learn on this trip. I learned that I will not be moving to Egypt. Um, may visit again, probably not in the near term, because, like I said, the Egyptian Museum, highly recommend visiting. Plan for several days. There was also a civilization museum that we didn't get a chance to see. Like there were certain things. It was like, oh, if I came back, what I would want to repeat, because again, just being confronted even with the same information, you're going to take away something different. But what never would live there. No. That's a no for me. That's a no for me, dog. Speaking of the dogs, yes, they had a lot of dogs, running around. And I was like, Bailey would not survive. She would not survive the Egyptian dogs. Nope. Her bougie ass? No. She like her mama. No. But yeah, was disappointed that it was not good cuisine. And also another disappointment was even at the hotels we stayed at, was that there wasn't, well, a couple things. Like there weren't, it was like, oh, there would be Italian food. And if you go in a restaurant, then they've got like Madonna and, Robert De Niro and, Leonardo DiCaprio's face. And it's just like, okay, we're in Egypt. Like, they had, ancient Egyptian stuff too, but mostly a lot of white folks. And the cuisine would be bland, I guess, to accommodate the people that frequent the most. Because we were the only, keep me honest, friends, for the most part, well, no, with the exception of one group, and I think they might have done one of the boat cruises. We were the only Black folks. Everybody else was white. And oh my gosh, they try so hard to get our attention. Like we were taking a photo, and the guy was with a different group. We were in the Nubian village at this point. And so, our guy's trying to, get us by this thing, take a picture, and he's walking by. And we're like, okay, they at the tail end, they walk behind, so they're not being rude, thankfully. And then he's like, say cheese. Ain't nobody ask you, bro. Then the one they was trying to dance. But yeah, I was disappointed that there wasn't like like an Egyptian menu, like, because I've been to places like Costa Rica, and you're going to have, traditional Costa Rican breakfast, or Indonesia have traditional Indonesian breakfast, etc. And so I think it's just because that food ain't that great, sadly. Doesn't taste good, not fresh. But like I said, in the hotels and stuff, people, I mean, not just the hotels, people were very polite. The only thing is that the aggression of the tipping and the buy something from me is so aggressive. Like as soon as you walk out of your hotel room or wherever you're staying, you're just on high alert. And that can be very, especially for me, where my nervous system is very calm since I left the US, especially living in Portugal. you got to be on high alert because you don't want to get pickpocketed. You don't want to, you know, do anything that's, misinterpreted, etc. You don't want to get got. So just having to constantly be, excuse me, on alert, and then doesn't matter. You're a little girl, woman, man, little boy, like everybody. Only person I didn't see hustling was a baby. So that was a lot. That was a lot. So it was intense from that perspective. And as someone who's a Black American visiting the continent for the first time, I wanted to interact a little bit more, but it was challenging when every interaction is transactional, right? It's like, oh, you might compliment me on my hair or my skin color or whatever. And it's like, oh, wow. But it's not genuine because you want money from me, right? So that was the disappointing part of it. Um, yeah. So that was interesting. Yes, my brother's here. Yeah, no, 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 no. And he was laughing because he was like, how's the food? Yeah. Yes, Bailey would not survive. Mm-mm. First of all, those Egyptian dogs are not on leashes. They know how to cross the street. They learn. And then we were laughing. It's like, so what happens? They get by a car. It is their destiny. I was like, Bailey would have gotten run over to day one. She has no street smarts. Okay, none. Um. Oh yeah, yeah. Because we went a couple places. They were like, "Oh, Americans." I open my mouth, right? I have an American accent, and it was hilarious. So Mel, right, is the only adult male, right? So we had their son who's 16, and then his wife, Tadasi, and then myself and our friend Ivy, right? So two single females. And so, they're, every time, because in order to get to these sites, they have like almost like these Medinas set up that you kind of walk through or because you can't avoid it to get to the site. And they have like, different wares, bags, all these little things. And you kind of want to look because you're like, oh, I want to get something. But once you veer off, because they want to say $1, $1, $1 is not really $1. Because once they get you, they're gonna be like, oh no, it's $200, right? Like we went to this stone place, which I actually bought some alabaster piece, and they were negotiating theirs, and the prices, I'm like, oh, I want to pay like 40, and then I'm overhearing 800. I'm like, what? I put my stuff back on the wall because they thinking, oh, we got a car full of Americans. Bruh, the average salary in Egypt is $5 a day. Like, what? How, Sway? How? But yeah. It was intense. So yeah, I was happy to like not deal with that. Yeah. There were cats. We saw cats. We saw cats. But yeah, the whole American thing, yeah, we were trying to downplay that hard. Hard. Nichelle said Stephanie was talking about Abidjan, Cote d'Ivoire recently on her channel. Yeah, and it is I would probably go to Cote d'Ivoire. I could see myself doing that at some point. Not when, I don't know. Places that I would like to go because at my DNA, which I knew, but like, my daughter had gotten hers done while I was away. She got her results. And then I was like, oh, let me look at mine because I hadn't looked at mine in a couple of years. And they changed the percentages with more samples. And so it had been a couple of years. So I'm like, oh, let me see what the percentages are. So mine is part of mine. 22% Nigerian and 22% Benin and Togo. And so I was like, oh, and Naki, who does the African Lisbon tour, also does diaspora trips to Benin and Togo. So I was like, oh, you know what? I need to prioritize that. So maybe next year, I gotta see. Possibly more likely the year after, because I'm going to graduate next year. So probably, yeah. But yeah, I was like, you know what? I knew there was a reason why I like Jollof. But yeah, I definitely want to visit West Africa. I just have to figure out when. Yeah, because you don't want to be constantly. Once I closed the door to my hotel room, that was it, right? You ask a question, somebody wants some money. You just exist, somebody wants your money. Constant. Like I said, we were taking a boat ride on the Nile, and the kids were popping up out of the water. It was like, oh my God, how, right? Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Egypt it was so much to learn, and again, no regrets. Oh gosh, all good. All good. Happy I went. Yes, the Nubian village was wonderful. Oh wow. That is so cool. I bet you that was beautiful. The Nubian village we went to was like so colorful. I wish we had spent more time. But it was so colorful. The food was good. We sampled some breads. This one bread in particular, I don't know what it was called, but it was very good. We ate a lot of that, and these like kind of dipping sauce. One was like black honey, I think it was, and we saw a crocodile. Yeah, we saw mummified crocodiles, real crocodiles. There's a crocodile pond on the property of our hotel. So they had some crocodiles in there, although one of them seemed to have gotten away. Then we had some big crocodile. Yeah, I wasn't prepared for crocodiles. And yeah, and this other one had like the spice and this cheese. It was really good. Yeah, the Nubian village was really nice. But then also too, they want their money. So the hustle was on. Let me see what else. Bailey, you are snoring so loud. Nichelle said, I just looked at my screenshot. 21 9. Yes. I was like, I gotta go now. So yeah, I definitely want, I have a trip to the continent again, like I said, later this year. And I think going forward, at least for the next couple of years, I can see myself at least doing one or two, like at least one in my travel every year. Right. So I can see myself doing that. It's like I said, now 26 countries. And in the grand scheme of things, Egypt, this trip lined up at the right time in my life, because I feel like things happen as they're supposed to happen. I needed to be this age. I needed to have this many years outside of the US to visit, Egypt specifically, and also, the continent. Because one of the things that, was obvious is the effects of colonization, the rewriting of our history. Like I said, how the hell you got Liz Taylor playing Cleopatra? I will never know. Um, and how much, it must be in their DNA, right? To just take from one culture and act like you invented it, right? Because I'm like, well, if these things existed before Christ, thousands of years, then, and then you can see where you borrowed things. It's like, oh, I see. It makes sense now. There was also, sadly, a lot of defacing and graffiti that we witnessed. So when the Christians came into Egypt, and they, were faced with and confronted with these massive civilizations, right? Like whole ass civilization, right? Luxor is a big open air, museum. And it goes on for miles. Just amazing. And instead of, respecting it, they would, kind of chisel at, the statues, the monuments. They would put their crosses on there, like chicken scratch. Yeah, it was just very, very sad. And then we also saw other graffiti, right? Like more modern graffiti. So people doing carvings, 1815, 1865, somebody's carving in their initials, either from, Britain, or we saw some from France, some from Italy. So that was unfortunate. So that was just a lot to take in, because you're looking at a temple, and then you're kind of seeing like, wait, that's script, that's cursive. And like, wait, trying to make sense of it. So that was interesting. But yeah, it was just, oof. Yeah, I don't know, so. No, no, no. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why. Mm-mm-mm. And it's infuriating when you then go to these places and you're seeing, these big statues, first of all, on the continent, and you're like, wait a second, there's no way that what you told and what I see with my own eyes are the same, right? Not the same. Those statues, those images, full lips. Those are African features, right? That's real gold. Full lips, right? Even the hair. Like you can just see. I don't understand. These are images that like are real. Right? We saw headdresses. These are the ancient Egyptians' depictions of their day-to-day lives. Look at that. Mm-mm. Yes. Yeah. My haplop group is a direct descendant of mitochondrial Eve. I was like, oh, extra special. But yes, right? They came from Africa. You know, they would have stole the pyramids if they could have moved them shits. Yeah, but I think that was it. I think those were the big things that I wanted to leave you with. Hour and 30, time to go. So hopefully you got a smattering of what the experience was in Egypt. Hopefully you will add Egypt to your bucket list, regardless of whether or not you want to move there. And I'm not saying don't. If you have it in your heart to move to Egypt, if you have command of language and feel like you can, pick up Arabic, if you want to be surrounded by just so much rich history, I think, it's worth it, right? Who am I to say no? I just mean, for me, it's not a fit, but definitely recommend people, travel, go eyes wide open now with the extra tips that were shared. Yeah, have your Egyptian pounds. You'll need it. And yeah, definitely add it to your travel list, and preferably go with a group. Oh, you know what? I think somebody did ask a question. I think somebody asked a question. Did somebody ask a question? I might have missed it. But yeah, definitely. All right. So join, if you haven't already, if you're ready to move abroad, join our group, Black State Global Passport, our private community off of social media. We have our next accountability group coming up next month in April. And I'm excited for that. And I will be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. I will be making like little snippets of our amazing trip to Egypt. So I know it can only show you just a few things that, just like I said, took my breath away and were food for thought, but there will be more Egypt content coming out. So be on the lookout for that on the channel. But until then, be safe, be well, and I'll see you next week. All right.